Welcome to another episode of Codes by Source. I am your intuitive guide, Ishani, and inside this series, I'm sharing with you some codes, some prompts, some messages that will help you reflect on your life and create a life beyond logic, which is rooted in your divine magic. So, today I want to talk to you about the concept of self worth. It is something that has come up in a lot of my conversations with my clients. It is also, the way I look at self worth is very simple, and I think not a lot of people understand it in this way. One of my clients actually told me that, Ishani, this is the simplest way I've understood it, and it has helped me so much in just one session. So, I want to share that with you. I work with a lot of people who are people pleasers, who are perfectionists, who are always looking for finding faults in themselves. So, first of all, if you're that person, you're perfect, okay? You are imperfectly perfect. So don't bother yourself with all these rules that you put on yourself. And honestly, this happens because you might have grown up in a family where perfectionism is celebrated, where mistakes are considered a big problem. And it might happen that you might not have explicitly heard this in your life, but you might have had parents where when you saw your mother, she is like the epitome of perfection. She is good at everything. Housework, office work, all of that, right? Everybody is just praising her. Similarly, it can happen with your father that he's like a perfectionist. He wants everything to be perfect. And even when they did not put that on you, it might happen that they might have those expectations from you. But it's more about how you see them handling themselves, is how you actually start to create an image of you in your head, that this is who I should be. And every time you do something in your life and you go through something, you're always comparing yourself to that image that you've created in your mind. Okay. So now when it comes to self-worth, self-worth in the simplest form is making promises to yourself and keeping them. It is that simple. People with high self-worth are actually people who say that I'm going to do this and I do it. Now, the problem with people who have perfectionism tendencies or people pleasing tendencies is that their idea of keeping their promises is just so huge that they cannot ever keep a promise. What I mean by that is, for example, you've been given a project to finish, and now you've finished the project, but you will never feel satisfied with the project because you're comparing yourself with that again, the image of you, which is again an amalgamation of who a perfect person is in your mind. And through that, you're comparing that finished project and you're thinking, that person, which is you, I should have done it better. And you have this sense of, I am never enough. I cannot ever possibly create like the most beautiful thing because you are not that person. Although in your mind, you are that person because you have to be that person because that's the only way for you to be. Now, to simplify all of that, what I mean by that is that there is no room for mistakes. There is no room for imperfection in your life. And because of that, you don't ever feel satisfied. And because of that, you have low self worth because you cannot ever keep a promise in your life. Even when you have spent all your life keeping making promises and keeping them, you still don't feel satisfied because all these promises are being measured from a benchmark which is not justifiable in your life because it's an insane benchmark. Okay, so how do you go beyond this, right? How do you actually create a high self-worth is first realizing that this image that you've created in your mind is a superficial image. It's an image that you don't need to be. So understanding who you are, understanding why did you even create this image, and creating a different version, allowing yourself to be the one who can make mistakes, allowing yourself to be the one who can falter, who can say I'm going to do this and do it, but not in a way which is like beyond perfection. You are not looking for that. And I'm no in no way asking for you not do what you are meant to do. I'm not asking you to not follow your heart and go out there, work as per your potential. What I'm saying is that there is a potential in all of you, but you have created a benchmark for you that goes beyond your potential, which is not required, okay? So, how do you come back? Is A, creating a strong relationship with yourself, and you cannot have a strong relationship with yourself when you have created an image which is beyond perfection. So, allowing you to make mistakes, allowing you to have an image of yourself which is a reflection of who you are in this moment, so that you are not comparing yourself to an imaginary person, but to yourself, your true self, who you see right in the mirror in the screen right now. Okay, so connecting with yourself and then making small promises, very small promises, like I'm going to drink water and drinking water. Like that smaller promise will be able to help you cultivate a new sense of self-worth. But all of this is easier to do when you have created a strong bond. So self-worth begins with understanding of self. This is who I am. I am a person who can make mistakes. I am a person who loves this. I'm a person who does not enjoy working as a graphic designer. So this is how you start to cultivate a strong sense of self-worth. Okay. And self-worth is internal. Nobody else can tell you your worth, first of all, but nobody else can determine how much self-worth you have, because it has to come with you. It is different from self-esteem, because that depends on other people. But self-worth always depends on you and your relationship to yourself. Today, I just want to leave you at that self-worth is very simple as a concept. It is you making promises and keeping them to yourself. This is not about anybody else. This is just about you with yourself. Okay. And you start it. You start building a strong sense of self worth when you start to build a strong sense of self. So I hope that it has given you enough questions to think about. Think about these questions. I also have a free coaching session for you in the links. You can find the description, and let's talk more about it. I want you to have a very strong sense of self-worth, because that translates into everything in your life, because how you relate to yourself is how you relate to the world. So I want to leave you with that today. I will see you next time. Take care.